am Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com. Our guest today, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Please welcome Steve Anthony for his very first visit to Kicks
All
96
right.
Country. How are you, Steve?
Man, I'm doing great, Fletch.
All right, so I'm gonna, if you don't mind, you brought one of my favorite things in the world. Steve brought a vinyl album.
There you have it.
And I say this one of my favorite things in the world because I grew up with these. So I always get excited whenever I see anybody that's got, a vinyl album. I love that vinyl's making a resurgence.
I love it too.
So you've got this album, Heartache and Honky Tonks.
I bet it's country.
I bet it sounds, if I were a betting man, which I am, I would say that it probably is. All right, so think about the whiskey. That's the single. All right. Well, before we get into the music, let's figure out who Steve Anthony is. Let's introduce you to the Kicks 96 audience. So,
okay.
Talk to us about where are you from?
Well, I'm from Caldwell, Texas.
Oh, wow.
I'm close to Austin.
I thought I've sent some Texas on you. I've been to Texas plenty. You guys have this whole energy that just like, yeah, you're from Texas. One of my best friends from college is a Texan.
Yeah. Well, we got our own life down there. We have our own lifestyle, and we've threatened to become our own nation, before.
It's more than once, actually, yeah.
Yeah, here recently too. So, but we're great being a part of the U.S. and we got a great country, the United States. What a great country we live in, and of course, us Texans, we always think it's a thrill, if we get to come to Nashville. and so, there, you can argue both facts, and I appreciate you introducing me from Nashville, but
that's
okay.
You came here from Nashville.
From Nashville, we did.
I didn't mean that you come from Nashville. I meant like he journeyed while in Nashville to the shows to come see me. But trust me, I know how much it means to Texans to be from Texas. Make no mistake, if you've ever known a Texan, you understand how much it means for a Texan to be from Texas.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's one of the most fascinating things. Whenever I go to Texas, it's one of the most fascinating things I think about the people there. And I go to Houston quite often, and I love it down there. It's just great.
Well, I can think of better places than Houston.
Of course, I'm
Houston,
sure.
I had so much. My early music career was all in Houston, doing these Holiday Inn tours and all these different clubs. Houston, Austin itself was a great music market, but Houston had all these places to play. So, I grew up being in a cover band, and, we made us a nice little living just playing cover songs and playing 6 nights a week.
Absolutely.
We was cutting our chops back then. Yeah. We was paying our dues, and what a great place to do it at. So Houston, I love Houston. I love the country. I grew up in the country, and I'm talking way out in the country, and it's just a different way of life. It's real enjoyable for me, and that's why I love living out there in the country.
I believe it.
I love the city too. I love Nashville, and I love going to Austin. But if I'm gonna spend some time soul searching, I'm gonna be in the country.
Absolutely. Trust me, I get it. There. I absolutely get it. So that means you say you grew up, playing cover bands and things like that. So have you always been music? Has it always been what you do?
I've been, I've probably got, I started when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
I started playing bars and honky tonks at
15?
At 15.
Well, in Texas, I think you can probably do that.
And, they wanted me to play football because I was a big old boy, but I just, coaches said, boy, you need to quit playing the guitar and just come out here on the football field and make a career out of it. And and I tried it. I tried their method, and I just couldn't go it. I had music at heart, and it's been with me. I knew, when I started at 15, I knew this is something I was going to do all my life, and I wasn't going to get tired of it. And the Lord has blessed me with good health, and of course that may change tomorrow too. You never know what's in store for us. He has all the answers. We're just the instrument taking up the space that he provides for us, and it's I'm thankful that I'm in the music industry. I get to I get to meet people like you and people like Joe Kelly and all these all the radio people that I get to travel and meet. I just love it. I love the music industry, and like I said, I'm gonna be doing it till I can't do it.
Well, that's the only way to do anything. All right. Well, so obviously the album is done. All right. And you got the first singles out. Let's talk about. Are these all songs that you wrote?
Everything. This is the fourth studio album that I did, and I have another one completed. The fifth studio album is done, and Think About the Whiskey.
Think About the Whiskey's not on this, so that's on the new
Think
one.
About
Okay.
the Whiskey's on the fifth
On the new-
studio
okay.
album. And we just recently released this album. We released several singles off of it, and we had some. I think we had a couple of Christian country singles off of here that went number one, and so I feel real fortunate. But you know, I like growing up as a kid, vinyl records. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to have me one of these. So.
I mean, I do have a turntable at home.
So when I got to that fourth record, I said, you know, well, it's time. I'm gonna do this vinyl, and I think it's a great title.
Yeah, Heartaches and Honky Tonks. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I grew up doing, you know, and it's I'm real proud that I got to that point, you know, where I could produce this vinyl record, and it's you know, I've played I don't know how many places I played. I've been all over the world playing music, and I've got to see things that a lot of people don't get to see, you know, in their lifetime. You know, I got people that live in my community, that live in my city, and you know, it's rare. Well, you know, when's the last time you went out of the city limits and, and visited somewhere? Yeah, but they're content living in that life and living in that time, and I was, you know, my mother and dad, they always seemed to take us around, and we'd always take vacation somewhere, and I guess that's where I got that traveling spirit from. And that's what I love that about the music industry, that I get to travel and see so many different places.
Well, all right. Well, let's talk about the single. Let's talk about Think About the Whiskey. I think about whiskey often. I'm not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I think about whiskey quite a lot. All right. So where did that song? I mean, that one that you wrote, or is that one that somebody wrote? That you...
No. Everything that I've done, all of my albums have been. I've been the writer on everything. When I got to that point that I said I'm gonna go back into songwriting. I was into songwriting in the early '90s, and had some stuff that went pretty good, and had some people here in Nashville with the Owen Bradley and what was Bradley's Barn out there, and it was at Murfreesboro, and I got to record in a historic place, and just ended up with the wrong producer, and we just never did do anything with it. And after that little ordeal of just, you know, not really getting what I wanted to out of Nashville, I said, well, you know, I'm just going to go back, and I'm gonna play my songs, and just got into some good cover bands. I don't know how many bands I've had in my career, and on top of that, I've got to play with some really good bands, and I just decided, you know, it was time to play my own music, and so 10 years ago I started writing and producing albums, and I'm in a historic studio down in Tyler, Texas, where Leanne Rhymes got Greg Hall started. He produced Leanne's first 7 albums, so when I went to visit Greg Hunt, I'm sorry, no, I said Greg Hall, Drew Hall, Greg Hunt. When I went to visit him over in Tyler, and he agreed to be my producer, you know, I said, oh Lord, have mercy. I said, I think I'm going to heaven here early. So it was just an honor. And then Greg made it through. We were in the middle of the third studio album, and Greg had a heart attack and passed away, just unsuspected kind of thing. And but his mentor. Drew Hall stepped up, and you know, I'm still working at Rosewood, and just still produce an album. Like I'm 7 songs into the 6th studio album,
okay.
So well on my way to getting another album produced and finished, and maybe by early spring we'll be, you know, thinking about getting it over here to Nashville and getting it mastered. And I've been using Georgetown Masters in Nashville for all my projects, and they just always do such a great job. And like I said, you know, I try to write my own things. You know, I've had offers. Well, why don't you come and get, you know, and well, y'all can come down and see me too. You know,
yeah, they can come. You can always go down to Texas.
You know, the Lord has blessed me. I've lived. I've been living a good life, and I hope He gives me, you know, a lot more time. And it's all in His hands. You know,
All right. Well, think about the whiskey. Somebody hadn't heard the song yet. What's the song?
So think about the whiskey. You know, everybody's been through heartaches, and they had that special person. You know that. You know, and me, I look back at, you know, some of my high school days and some of the girlfriends, you know, that you fall in love with, and they just, you know, things just don't seem to work out, and you know, you always feel that hurt, especially the really, you know, the really good ones that you really got connected to. And so think about the whiskey was a way to, you know, I think country music, you know, how many drinking songs have we seen in country music? And so I wanted to create something that would just a little bit, you know, a little bit different curve, a little bit different play on words than the same drinking song. And so think about the whiskey rather than thinking about her and having that heartache. I'm going to think about the whiskey because that's what's going to get me through this heartache that I'm feeling. And so that's where the song came from. And it's I think it's been a good, it's a good song. It's got a good story. And, you know, everything I do, there's some songs, you know, that just, they aren't made for the radio. I think about the whiskey was a song that was kind of geared, you know, to get played on the radio, and because people can connect to it, you know, so many people connect to a drinking song, and just use a little bit different.
We've all been there. We've all been
let's think about the whiskey. Let's don't.
Right. Steve Anthony is our guest, and the single is "Think About the Whiskey." If you want to hear it, you make sure you call me at Kicks 96. We'll be happy to play it for you. So, Steve, if somebody is looking to see where they can get a copy of this sweet vinyl album, Heartaches and Honky Tonks, and maybe the next album, the 5th album when it comes out, that has Think About the Whiskey on it, where do folks look on the internet to find you?
Well, you can find me at steveanthonymusic.com is probably the easiest. Of course, you know, with social media, such a big TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and just find me under Steve Anthony Music. I have a personal page, and we want to hear from people. You know, I think the website, I have my publicist lady has her own radio station in Texas, and she's been my publicist for going on 10 years, and she loves people contacting her. So, you know, go to the website, send her an email. Her name is Helen. And send her an email and just tell us what you think of the music, and go find me on, you know, look on social media. You can find me on any of those platforms. So
Steve Anthony's
Steve Anthony Music.
And if Think About the Whiskey is the single, make sure you call us at Kicks 96. We're glad to play it for you. Find Steve Anthony online, follow him on his socials, and learn all about this Texan who's making Texas country for Nashville ears. All right, so Steve, thanks for being here. Look for a live performance from Steve elsewhere here on our YouTube channel. And, you know, come back and visit us again soon, all right?
I hope to. Fletch. I appreciate you having me in. And, you know, it's always a pleasure meeting good people that are in the music industry, because that's what I'm here.
Always a pleasure getting new good music.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
We'll see you next time on another artist video blog, Kicks96country.com.
Give me a shot or two.